Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Thanks a ton for stopping by. Today's beer is Weyerbacher Brewing's Chocolate Pretzel Sunday Morning Stout. Now guys, I've had their Sunday Morning Stout and I thought it was really tasty. This is their chocolate pretzel version of it. So, not seen or heard about this before. I got it yesterday from my brother Rico. Rico, thanks again my brother. Another variant of their Sunday Morning Stout, and I don't know anybody that want to drink a 12.7% beer for breakfast. Some of you young bucks maybe. Hopefully you're not going to work on Sunday after you've drank one of these, because that would probably not be a good thing. But if you're going to be leisurely around the house, I know if I drank this for breakfast on Sunday morning, I'd probably be in the bed in an hour later. So not a person that drinks beer for breakfast. Just don't do it, guys. I'm too old for that crap. I do mine in the evening, so when I'm done, like I'll be done with this one, I could just stagger into the bedroom and fall down, and I have to worry about continuing on the rest of the day with a big monster buzz. Hopefully you're not driving after you're drinking a beer of this magnitude. That would be a bad thing for you and anybody else. So drink responsibly, guys. Don't drink these monster beers and go try to drive. Oh, I can handle it. That usually doesn't work out too well. So let's get on with this. The note that Rico sent with this one, 12.7 bourbon barrel aged imperial coffee stout. This is a variation of the regular Sunday morning stout brewed with gratuitous amounts of cocoa nibs, cocoa powder, lactose, and unrefined sea salt. And he said it was $28 for a 4-pack at the beer store. Wow! That is high dollar, guys. That's almost $10 a pop. Canned on March 14th of 2019. So, not even a month old here. Today is 6th of April. So, about 3 weeks old here, guys. So, let's get on with this and see what we got going on with this one. Weyerbacher has been doing beers for a long time. Now that they're canning stuff, it does have the ABV written on the side of the can here, and it does have the canned on date on the bottom. So, very impressive. I don't see any IBUs or anything like that listed on there. It does have the same thing as what Rico told me. It says, beyond that, it says lots of roast and dark chocolate play along nicely with bourbon, coffee, and vanilla. The lactose helps balance things out, with the sea salt adds a layer of smooth salinity that ties it all up. Sounds very impressive, sounds very tasty. A big plain Jane silver can with a stick-on wraparound label, which tells me that they're concentrating on what's inside the can instead of printing up a bunch of fancy artwork on a can that's going to be either thrown away or recycled. So, I applaud all these breweries that's gone to these wraparound stick-on labels and not having a bunch of fancy artwork printed up on a specialty can that they can't put a lot or don't put a lot of information on, because they're probably using those cans for different batches and different year versions. So a lot of times when they print those cans up, they won't even have the ABV or any kind of dating on it, but you know, they can date the bottom of the can, but you won't have the ABV listed on the label because it could change from batch to batch or year to year. So, I like it when they do these labels that they can print stuff on as far as the ABV and have the can all day stamped on the bottom. A lot of breweries are going to these cans. Mini kegs is what I call them. The light can't get in there and do any damage to the beer. It's a mini keg. I mean, it's just like having a big keg that you're drinking beer from at a pub, bar, brew pub. It keeps the light off the beer. I mean, it's a mini keg. So let's go to Untappd, see if they have any additional information. It has the same thing I just read you from Rico's notes and what's written on the can here. We don't have the IBUs, so that is all the information we got. Let's get into it. Big 16-ounce can, pop the top, and get it into the glass and see what we got going on here, guys. We're going to pour this down the center, being an almost 13%er. It is pitch black coming out of the can, guys. Very, very dark. And I'm pouring it straight down the center. Doesn't look like it's going to produce very much of a head. And we got most of it in there, maybe a swallow left in there. It's just bare, the head is barely covering the top of the beer, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Good looking beer though, very, very dark, very typical of what an Imperial Stout looks like. Over to the light, I'm not getting any at all. It is dark, dark, dark. And the head is already dissipated. It's not even covering the top of the beer. I can see the beer down through the center there. Let's get it to the nose and see what we got going on. Oh, big bourbon notes. I love that. You're paying top dollar for a bourbon barrel aged stout, and the bourbon notes are there. They've left it in the barrels long enough, more than likely first run barrels that's never had beer in them before. Nice roasted malt notes. Nice sweetness from the lactose. A slight hint of some coffee in there. Not so much pretzel or saltiness on the nose to me, but it may be in the taste. Smells absolutely outstanding, guys. I'm definitely getting the bourbon in for a $28 for a 4-pack. That's what I want. If I'm going to pay that kind of money, I want to taste that bourbon. I want to smell that bourbon. I don't want them to put it in a bourbon barrel for 2-3 weeks and get it out, and you're paying that premium price and you don't get any of the bourbon aroma or taste on it. So let's see if we got it in the taste. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Wow. The bourbon notes are in the front seat. They're in the front seat. The second seat, in front of the school bus, are taking up 3/4 of the seats. Maybe all the seats except for the back seat. Bourbon notes are foremost and prominent. Not overpowering as far as burning or anything like that, but you're getting the bourbon notes that you're paying for that beer to be setting in those bourbon barrels at the brewery for the length of time they feel that it's necessary to get those tastes. Slight hint of some coffee, roasted malt, maybe a little black molasses. I am getting some saltiness on the taste. So there's your salted pretzel version of it. And to me, guys, when they do a beer like this with sea salt, unrefined sea salt in this case, it gives you a little saltiness on the back end, which would go well with anything that's salty that you wanted to go, chips or pretzels or anything salty, any kind of appetizer you wanted to eat with it, maybe even some pizza. But the saltiness, after you drink it, you got that saltiness taste in there, so you want to take another drink, and then you want to take another drink because of the saltiness. It works well with this. It works very, very well, and and that's the whole idea there. Throw a little salt in there, it's going to make their mouth a little drier as they drink it, and they're going to drink it more or take more sips. So it's another way for them to make you keep sipping on it, keep sipping on it, keep sipping on it. Because as you sip on it, then your throat's a little dry from the salt, and I need another sip, I need another sip, I need another sip. And before you know, the glass is empty. Now I need another one. So hopefully you're drinking these at home. Big monster beer. You don't want to be driving even after one. One of these is enough to get a DUI in the state of Virginia. Unless you're 500 pounds and you can soak up that alcohol, but it's not a good thing to do. Once again, drink responsibly, guys. Right out of the fridge, we're going to sip on it for a little bit. Oh, before we go off camera, let's do the back end pour. No way you could change the appearance of it, and it didn't change the amount of head that we got like a lot of times it does on the back end pour. Very tasty beer. So I'm going to go sip on it for 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll come back and see where it ends up. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on this for about an hour. Not much lacing is left on the grass, but the grass? Not much lacing is left on the grass either. Very nice beer. Bourbon notes are there. Rich roasted malt, hints of black molasses, a little bit of coffee, a little bit of saltiness in there. The lactose, bringing out the sweet taste. Awesome beer. This is just as good as the regular morning stout, maybe a little better. With the lactose being used in the brewing process and a little bit of that saltiness in there makes you want to keep drinking it. Very nice beer. Not sure that this guy would drink this on a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning or any morning, but some of you young bucks might be able to handle that. Just make sure that you're not driving after you drink a almost 13%er. Very tasty, very well made. The biggest thing that I like about this, the bourbon notes are there, they're prominent, they're up in the front seat, taking up most of the room, and that's what I want. If you're paying almost $30 for 4 of these, you want to taste that bourbon. You want to smell that bourbon, and that's what you get with this. Very well done. Awesome beer. I would buy this regularly if I could get it here. Wonderful aroma, wonderful taste. Final chug. Absolutely freaking delicious. Awesome beer. Probably one of the best beers I've had from Weyerbacher. This is awesome. Being canned on top of that makes it easy to take the beach, the pool, anywhere where glass is not permitted. Pack it in, pack it out. Recyclable. Virginia doesn't recycle, well, this part of Virginia doesn't recycle glass. So all your glass bottles go in the trash can and fill up the landfill. Aluminum, different story. This part of Virginia, you can take these in and get money for them. So a lot of states paper glass, and that's a good thing. But this part of Virginia does not. So I like the cans. I do like the cans. I didn't used to be that way. I am now. Now that I've had a lot of breweries are going to can versions, and I've had a bunch of them now. These cans are lined. You don't get a lot of metallic taste usually from these beers. Very well done. Guys, for me, this is an awesome beer. It's an outstanding beer. It's a world-class beer. It is a 10 for me. I love a bourbon barrel age imperial stout that I can taste the bourbon in. I can smell the bourbon. This is that. But it is not a cheap beer to buy. It is a pricey beer, but it is a great beer. It is worth picking up if you can get your hands on this version from Weyerbacher, their chocolate pretzel Sunday morning stout. I think it's probably a tad better than their regular Sunday morning stout. I do like a little bit of that saltiness in there. I don't use salt on any of my food, but the sea salt is better for you than a regular iodine version of salt. So more healthy conscious there. So awesome beer. It is awesome. It is awesome. So guys, that's where we're going to leave this. I'll give it a 10, 100 over to Beer Advocate. They say 4.26 in their outstanding range. I agree with that. It is outstanding, but I think it's a little better than a 4.26. And over to Untapped, they have it at 4.16. Definitely think it's better than that. Awesome beer. Rico, once again, my brother, I do appreciate you sending this to me. It was absolutely freaking delicious. Great final beer of the evening for me, which it is. If you've had this from Weyerbacher, their chocolate pretzel Sunday morning stout, let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.